Hi Chris, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
No problem.
How did you get involved with Dark Side of the Ring, and were you first approached to narrate it or take part in an episode?
Yeah, to take part in an episode, to do the Benoit episode, and then to the Owen Hart episode as well. And then a couple of days later, they asked me if I would narrate the whole series, which was very cool for me because it's something that I've never really done before. And I thought the story was very interesting. I thought they did a great job of putting them all together and kind of dredging up some of these tales that I'd always heard rumors of but never had heard the whole story. So all across the board, it was just a really enjoyable experience for me. And I got some great feedback. So add that to the list of things that Jericho can do, narrate a documentary.
The Benoit tragedy is something you're obviously pretty close to. Did you have any advice for the Dark Side team about how to handle the episode?
No, I didn't. I mean, that's their thing, man. I mean, I had nothing to do with it. I just knew that they had the right people talking about it from the right aspects. You know, and guys that have never really been involved before, like Dean Malenko and Chavo Guerrero, two dear friends of mine, and Sandra Toffolini and David Benoit, obviously, direct family members of Chris. So they had just done a really good job of getting people involved that had never talked about it before. And when I heard about that, I was like, well, I really would like to be involved with this as well. So I thought that's kind of the definitive story, for the whole Benoit tragedy. You know, there's no reason for any of us to really talk about it ever again. Once you get on something like that with the right people and it's done the right way, it's kind of like, okay, we've said our piece and now we can all move forward. So I think it was very cathartic for a lot of people, very informative for others, very sad, obviously, but it's all there. If there's anybody who's ever has any questions in the future about what went down, you can go watch that episode.
Nancy was someone that I have a lot of memories watching in WCW as a child, and what really impressed me about the episode was how they focused on who she was and her career. Do you have a fondest memory of her?
Yeah, she was just a lot of fun, and I didn't know her quite well, but she was just a really cool chick, shall we say, and I think that kind of her legacy is a little bit forgotten because of the way her life ended. People forget just how much of a pioneer she was and how great she was at her job of being, one of the original, females in the wrestling business. So I think it's important for people to remember her for her accomplishments, which just weren't being, the wife of Chris Benoit, who was murdered by him. I mean, she had a long, illustrious career. And she was great at what she did. And she had a lot of friends in the business, and she was very well critically acclaimed. And that's kind of what I think has been missing about her story is what she did during her life, not just what she did in her death.
When you heard they were also covering Owen's Hart story, were you surprised that Martha and Oj and Athena agreed to take part in it?
Yeah, big time. I mean, I thought it was great. Once again, you have the children of Owen Hart who we've never seen. I mean, I've never even seen Athena before. I had no idea what she was doing or what she looked like or anything like that. So I think it had a lot of humanity to the story. And once again, it shows how unique and how special Dark Side of the Ring is. The fact that they had the respect and the accolades that were given to them from the first season to be able to approach a Martha Hart. She's not going to go on camera for anybody, and she did. And I think it's kind of causing a little bit of a resurgence for Owen Hart and who he was as a performer, as a person. I think people want to see that and want to know that. So I'm glad that she was involved.
Do you think that wrestling fans who have been campaigning for Owen to be in the WWE Hall of Fame will feel differently after watching the episode?
I would hope so. I mean, I never thought Owen should go in the Hall of Fame. It's not right. And I think anybody who had any problems with that should watch it and will understand kind of where the family's coming from. And if you don't get it, well, that's fine. But to me, it's the right move. It's the best move. And I think the best part part of all is that now I think the family realizes there's other places to go other than just WWE. You know, there's a lot of other Hall of Fames and a lot of other places that Owen can get some of the accolades that he deserves, 21 years later. I mean, his influence doesn't go away, and it shouldn't be minimized, but if she doesn't want to do that through the WWE system, I totally get that.
I know you mentioned to her in your podcast about what if New Japan wanted to do something. Is that something you'd like to see, or you think would ever realistically happen?
Yeah, I'd love to see her do something with AEW. You know, I think, New Japan's great, but I think the spirit of Owen Hart lives on in AEW for sure. I mean, I'm a huge disciple of him, very much influenced by Owen Hart. So I think that, whether it's New Japan or AEW or wherever, I think it's important for Owen to be remembered by his fans and by the people that he influenced, myself included.
So speaking of AEW, last night you came face to face with Mike Tyson again. How did it feel being in the ring with him again last night?
Oh, it was exciting. It was amazing. I mean, we had such a chaotic night, and I think it was a great way for us to kind of reintroduce Mike and have some insanity on the show. It was totally wild and woolly, and I think a lot of people enjoyed it. The mainstream coverage has been off the charts.
Yeah.
And it just shows that, now more than ever, that Iron Mike Tyson is somebody who's very buzzworthy. He's in great shape. He's in great mental shape, physical shape, and he's ready to make a comeback. And whether that means a boxing match or whether that means a wrestling match or whatever it could be, he wants to be in the spotlight again. And, AEW is the cool place to be. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I think anybody that watches wrestling knows that, and that's why Mike came to play with us, so to speak. So it was a great moment. It was a great night, and hopefully we can do more in the future.
Yeah, he is in great shape. Do you think he's capable of having a wrestling match?
That's not up to him. That's up to me. Of course he's capable.
Yeah.
Wrestling is all shapes and sizes, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. So if he's agreeable to doing something with us, then we work to his strengths and eliminate his weaknesses. That's what wrestling's all about.
You recently made an appearance in another big documentary, The Undertaker Last Ride. Were you surprised to see WWE still include you and your colleague Jim Ross?
I haven't seen it, but I heard about it, and I don't know. I'm not surprised because I'm great on camera. I probably had some great quotes that they wanted to use, but listen. Whether WWE mentions Chris Jericho's name, doesn't mention Chris Jericho's name, shows me, doesn't show me. Bottom line is, I was there for 19 years and became very successful in that company and did a lot for the company, and vice versa. So if they choose to use some of my tape, I think we filmed that 3 years ago. I'm always happy and always involved. And anytime WWE wants to use anything that I ever did when I was there, more power to them. I'm happy that they used it. I'm happy they considered me, and I've heard it's a great documentary, and I want to check it out at some point.
You were the first wrestler I remember moving from WCW to WWE, and right now with AEW as an opponent, how similar do you feel the atmosphere is among the wrestlers to what it was like during the Monday Night War era?
It's different because it's a different system here. I mean, we're kind of creating this from a grassroots position, I mean, WCW had been around for 40 years. WWE had been around for 40 years. AEW's been around for a year. So all of us are kind of creating this and working on this and building this together. And that's the difference. We feel like a real team. There's nobody kind of overseeing this and kind of telling us what to do or whatever. We're just doing it all ourselves and what feels right, what we think we should do. So, I mean, obviously we're a maverick company, and we're the first kind of alternative, viable, legit alternative to WWE in 20 years. But the feeling is different from when I came to WWE. I feel more a part of this because we all helped create it, and it's a good feeling for sure.
You had the incredible Stadium Stampede match last week. What was that like to film, and who came up with that idea?
Once again, we kind of all did. We all kind of came up with the idea, what the rules of it were going to be, and what it was going to be, and then, filming it. Everybody was involved, and I really enjoyed that experience because you had 10 minds, all creative, and all, putting this amazing spectacle together. And if you didn't like it, then you don't understand the true entertainment value of pro wrestling, because it had everything in it. To me, it's one of the best things I've ever been involved in 30 years of being in the business.
Are there any positives that you've taken away from having to do empty arena shows?
Yeah, I mean, we're being more creative. We're doing things that wouldn't have happened. I mean, if there was no COVID, there would be no Stadium Stampede match,
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things that happen because of this. And, you have to adapt. It's the world we live in. I would love to have 10,000 screaming fans on all of our shows. Not going to happen anytime soon. I mean, we're working back towards it, and things are going good. But we're just going to have to continue doing what we're doing, which is providing entertaining content and making sure that people have something exciting to watch every Wednesday night.
If you have another match in New Japan, who would be the young star you'd like to face?
For me, right up there is Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
I think there's some money between Chris Jericho and Will Ospreay for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed New Japan. Working with Okada and Tanahashi and Naito. That's kind of why I went there. And Kenny. But Ibushi would be fun. But I think really for me, the one match that I would love to have is Ospreay for sure.
Yeah. And going back to Dark Side of the Ring, if there's a third season, what stories would you like to see covered?
I mean, there's so many. There really is. I mean, Brian Pillman stands out. Adrian Adonis. The British Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many. I mean, there's a lot of characters in wrestling history. There's some that are very famous and some that aren't as famous. But I do know that the show did tremendous ratings, and I do know that they're looking into doing some more episodes. So I'm excited to see what they come up with, because, I never expected to see an episode on Dave Schultz or on Herb Abrams or any of these crazy characters. But there's hundreds of them from the wrestling business. And I'm excited to continue to be involved with the show.